Hi guys, my name is Lucia and today I'm going to be talking about how the beauty community has changed. I filmed a video about a month ago about how the makeup industry has changed, and in that video I asked if you guys wanted to see a different video about the specifically beauty community. A lot of you guys said yes. If you missed that video, I will link it down below. Before we start, I want to put a massive disclaimer that this could not be a more personalized topic to whoever you're talking about. If you asked 100 different people who are into makeup how the beauty community on YouTube has changed over the years, you would get 100 different answers. This is only my opinion. This is my channel, this is my video, and I can only talk about what I have experienced through my lens. Compared to a lot of people, I am very young in the beauty community. I am almost 20, and I've been watching the beauty community since I was about 14, and that all plays a role. I am also an influencer. I see things through a different lens as people who are just viewers, because a lot of the stuff that has happened in the beauty community has happened to me. I've been affected by a lot of stuff. So that's my disclaimer. If you disagree with anything that I'm saying, that would make total sense because it is your opinion and it is your view, and I would love to hear that. But please be respectful. You know, no one is right or wrong here, and I'm certainly not saying that I have all the answers. I just want to tell you guys what I think has changed about the beauty community over the years. When I started watching the beauty community on YouTube, I was mainly watching British YouTubers, and everything was different. People were just filming in their bedrooms, a lot like I'm doing right now, before all of the makeup studios and having a professional backdrop and having other people film and edit your videos. This is old school. I'm talking Zoella on her bed, talking about the Stila eyeshadow palette that has been discontinued for years. I watched people like Sprinkle of Glitter, Zoella, Lily Pebbles, Essie Button. Most of those people don't even go by those names anymore, but those are the people that I watched. It was very real. I felt like anyone could be those people, even though they had so many subscribers, and this was way before people were getting into the 5 million, 10 million. This was, you know, if you had a million, you were at the very top of the YouTube game in the makeup industry from what I could tell. The people that I would watch were not makeup artists, and they never claimed to be. That's kind of what I mean. It felt very personal. It felt like it was just people sitting in front of a camera talking about makeup because it was. That's all it was when it started. This isn't to say everyone back then was not a makeup artist. No, there were tons of people that were makeup artists on YouTube, but it was very easy to find people who were just your average makeup lovers with enough experience to be skilled, but not so much experience that everything was perfectly blended all the time. There were flaws. People looked, you know, they didn't look completely flawless. There were sometimes flaws in the makeup application, and that was okay. That was accepted. The standards and expectations of viewers were way lower than they are today. The stakes were lower. I, at least, was not watching for perfection. I was watching because I liked to see other people talk about makeup, because I was getting into makeup. I loved makeup. Viewers weren't expecting as much from the YouTubers. They weren't expecting these perfect masterpieces out of every single look that was ever created. It was more human. It was more normal than that. Not to say that perfect makeup looks aren't human or aren't normal, but they're less an everyday viewer type of thing. It's more, okay, the big makeup artist can do that, but not everyone can do that. I hope that makes sense. So that's where I first originally started when it came to the makeup community on YouTube. People were getting PR at the time, and it was still a lot. People would still get full collections of things, but because the makeup releases were nowhere near the amount they are right now, it was still less. This is not to say that people didn't have massive collections, but it still felt like it was achievable. Now with the people who get every release to come out for certain brands and they have 200 foundations and stuff, at least for me, if I were to watch that with the knowledge I have now, I would never think in my head, oh, if I go to the drugstore and I buy a couple foundations, I could have that. Whereas when I was younger, I did think that. I did think if I could build up my collection to be what they have, that would be amazing. And part of that does come from my age, but I think that part of it is because there was less to have. there was less makeup to acquire because there was just less makeup on the market. I started a channel, I believe I was 15 or 16 when I started this channel. I've had this channel for a little over 3 years. In my opinion, it seemed really, 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 really hard to become popular on YouTube if you didn't start off at the very beginning when YouTube was first introduced. And the reason I felt like that was because I felt like we were all trying to do the exact same thing. I had some friends on YouTube who were also trying to be beauty gurus, and I was trying to be a beauty guru, and I wanted to review everything and own everything, and I was 16. That wasn't happening at all. That was not the reality. It just felt nearly impossible to rise to the top because I didn't feel like I was any different from anyone else, and I don't think my personality was shining through enough to set me aside. That's not to say that right now it's not hard to get popular on YouTube, because there's a completely different end to the coin. One end is that, yes, while we might have all been doing similar things back then, now there are more channels than ever before. It's so diluted that dipping your toe into the water and getting your video to become popular and have thousands of views is so hard. With that came the growth of all these subcategories of the makeup community. The subcategories that I am in is the project panning community, the community of anti-haulers and no-buys and shop my stash, and things where we are appreciating more of what we have. I am also certainly part of a more controversial side of YouTube. I talk a lot about my makeup opinions. Spoiler alert, a lot of people do not like my makeup opinions. A lot of people don't like that I am outspoken and that I say how I feel, and that's okay. That's part of a sub-community that I am in. And with those sub-communities, it's not necessarily easier to become really big, but it's easier to have a community of people that you're really talking to. When you have these sub-communities and you're really saying something, people are going to listen and people are going to become engaged with what you're saying. That's what I found. So when I started to watch the project panning community, I definitely think that has really taken off now. It was popular back then before I knew about it, but now a lot of bigger YouTubers have started to incorporate that lifestyle within their everyday life and their everyday videos, and it's become easier to have a real dialogue and to have a real persona on YouTube because you're actually saying something. It's impossible to say when a shift happened in the beauty community, but in my opinion, the shift would be when all the really popular people went from having 1 million subscribers to 5 million subscribers, because even at the 1 million subscriber mark, people were still relatable. Again, this is not to say that everyone with millions of subscribers is not relatable or that everyone falls into a certain category of relatability. Just as a blanket statement from where I stood as a viewer, once these beauty gurus got to 5 million subscribers, it became so hard to relate to them because suddenly they did have these big filming studios. They were receiving hundreds of PR packages every month. They had people editing for them, writing their scripts, doing their lighting. That's not to say there's anything wrong with that. YouTube is a business. If you are getting paid a lot of money and you have your own brand and you don't have time to edit your videos, that's totally fine. I am not trying to say that is a bad thing. I just think for me personally, it just became less relatable, and you can take that as a good or a bad thing. I'm not saying every single YouTuber has to be relatable in every way. There are some YouTubers that I could never relate to. Jeffree Star, his life is like the most unrelatable life ever. These big people, they're celebrities now. You can't relate to them, but to me, that's when what I'm about to talk about started happening. That's when this big shift went from we're just like you to we're gonna pretend like we're just like you, but we're not really just like you anymore. So I do have other things that I want to talk about. This isn't the only shift that I found in the beauty community, but it has to be addressed, and that is all the drama that is happening. There is so much drama in the beauty community to the point where I think some people are only in the beauty community because they want drama. They want to cause trouble. They want to see people go down in flames. There are certainly many times when people should be called out for their actions. When it comes to racism and inappropriate terms and saying things you shouldn't say and just being ignorant when it comes to big groups of people and who you're offending, that is something that should not be taken lightly, and I am glad that we can address those things. However, I don't like the way we address them. I don't like that we give people death threats and that we try to say people are essentially not worth being on this planet if they say certain things or whatever. Everyone is waiting for a YouTuber to make the wrong move. No one is praised for doing the right thing. No one is praised on YouTube for speaking their truth, staying in their place and doing all these good things, but if they step out of line in the head of the viewers, there is no mercy. As viewers, I think that people forget that YouTubers are people. YouTube has become the new Hollywood in a way. We have these fights with big YouTubers on Twitter that remind me of Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. It's like, what are you even talking about? Or Katy Perry and Taylor Swift. It's like these gigantic fights that everyone takes sides on, and it really shows you that this is not a relatable place anymore for those really, really big people. People are really mean. Not everybody. Not everybody. A lot of people are so nice in the beauty community, but a lot of people are really, really nasty, and no one says that they're not supposed to do that. It's because we have a computer to hide behind. People can just say whatever they want, and so a lot of people do get death threats, and a lot of people make videos about how they don't want to be YouTubers anymore, and a lot of people quit. It just can seem unfair when people blow things out of proportion. We have forgotten that sometimes it's just makeup. And I know that that's really scary for me to say because I am someone who gets yelled at all the freaking time for things that it's just makeup that I have an opinion on, but sometimes it's just makeup. And I think it's so easy to forget that because there's so much drama. It's so easy to get wrapped into it. Sometimes I just miss the good old days of YouTube. I do and I don't. And next I want to move on from the drama and I want to talk about another part of YouTube that is with the rise of all these new things coming out and more PR, people began to get really, really overwhelmed with the amount of stuff they were supposed to have. And with that came anti-hauls, Kimberly Clark, My Make Up Your Mind series, all these other things, and all these different YouTubers who were all saying, we need a change. We can't just buy all these things all the time. And for that reason, I love the beauty community today. I love that there is this subculture of appreciating what you have and not just running out and buying the next new thing. And there is certainly still stuff to be appreciated about the big beauty gurus. If you guys have followed me for a while, you probably know that I'm not subscribed to many people who have millions of subscribers in the makeup community, but I still watch beauty gurus from time to time. They are so talented. It is an art. I like to learn about certain things that is going on with the understanding that those people are no longer relatable. I no longer watch them and think, I could be like that one day. It's just very different. And as nice as it is to reminisce about the good old times, would I want to go back to the beginning when I started watching YouTube? No, not really, because I always wanted more. And now I understand that that's not possible, but I do miss a lot of stuff that went on during that time. I feel like now people don't want to build each other up. People want to tear each other down. That sucks, you know? And as a YouTuber who has been teared down a lot, it sucks to feel like everyone is just waiting for you to say something that you don't see as wrong, but they see as something that's terrible, and then they knock you down. And I know this video isn't about me. It's not about how I have felt as a YouTuber or whatever, but I can tell you from a YouTuber's perspective that it doesn't feel like a safe space a lot of the time. A lot of YouTubers would disagree. I have a certain following that makes me feel that way that a lot of people don't have. I know from all the drama that a lot of YouTubers would agree with me, and even people who don't have drama, even people who appear to have perfect channels with all loyal, loving subscribers, there's always people who are gonna tear you down, and it can feel like less of a safe space than it used to. So I think how I'd like to wrap it up is the stakes in the beauty community are higher. A lot of things have changed, the demands of viewers have changed, and that's not a good or a bad thing. There's good and bad to everything. It is tough. This isn't something that I can say for sure, oh, I feel this way about it and that's it. I have a very unique perspective on this, and like I said, everyone does, but it's just an interesting topic to talk talk about. I really want to hear what you guys think. Please leave your comments below. Remember that this is my opinion, you have your opinion, everyone has their own opinions, and let's just be respectful. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!